Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we discuss the Grand Seiko Spring Drive Automatic SBGA373, an extraordinary combination of the polyhedron or 44GS style Grand Seiko case with the Spring Drive 3-day automatic. Mechanical sole and quartz precision, it's a 40mm watch in stainless steel that wears easily on my 16cm circumference wrist. You can see the span across the wrist is nicely constrained, 46.2 lug-to-lug. If you add the solid end links of the bracelet, it expands to a still reasonable 49.7. I would say you can wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters if you put it on a strap, 14 centimeters circumference if you wear it on the bracelet. The spacing between the lugs is 19 millimeters, a characteristic of many Grand Seiko watches. They have rather narrow lug spacings. It's one of their distinctive styling features. The timepiece is only 12.9 millimeters thick, though the case, with a couple of modular components and several visible layers of construction, appears thicker than it is. Strap tool apertures, if you're one to swap, you'll be able to do so easily, but I recommend you at least give the factory bracelet a chance. Now, this being a steel construction Grand Seiko, there are no pin sleeves. All removable links are sized with screws. You can see half links, well represented for precise sizing, and the actual finish nicely staggered between large and small links, polished and satin surfaces. There's a handsome transitional bevel that runs down the flank, and then big gaps on the underside to avoid trapping heat, pinching skin, or pulling hair. The clasp is low in profile. It's not a diver's clasp, but it's a solid clasp. With twin trigger release, this one cannot accidentally pop open. I prefer this over friction fit, and I prefer it by far to the secure but cheap clamshell systems used by many watch brands from Switzerland in this price point. Now, jumping back to the case, this is that polyhedron form. You can see the lug ends by themselves a work of art, almost like the compound eyes of insects. That is all hand finished. Believe it or not, this is done by manual milling against a spinning tin plate. The polish, optically smooth, almost black from some angles, is what Grand Seiko refers to as its Zaratsu tin plate finish. Essentially what you'll see on Patek Philippe screw heads, it's the highest standard of optical finish, but rather than executed on a small surface inside a movement, it's the entirety of the external case. That is quite impressive. You don't expect to get that much handcraft on a watch in this price point, in this category of semi-sports watch. So moving inboard from those dramatically satin and polished, faceted and curved flanks, we discuss a dial that is deceptively complex. Grand Seiko puts an enormous amount of effort into its dials, and this particular champagne base requires almost a dozen individual steps to create between the galvanizing, the stamping, and other aspects of the finish. This is a time-consuming dial, just as this is a time-consuming case. Grand Seiko dial furniture is among the best in the industry. The combination of hands, aperture for the date, and the applique indices are all graceful and give the watch a noted and appreciated depth. Where many watches from Swiss brands use printed dials in this price point, Grand Seiko goes with all applique, and the individual applique quality is very high. You can see the faceting on the hands, you can see the faceting on the indices. All of this is manually executed by hand, pressing against a diamond milling machine. These are then all hand placed. The Dauphine hands at center with facets and black polish on their top, uniquely special. Again, this is one of the highlights of the watch. It behooves you to own a loop because you will want to loop the dial side of this watch. Power reserve, 72 hours, a date, and a lancet-style counterweighted seconds hand at center that is actually heat blued, a graceful, arcing, and almost, you can see, true to its name, needle-like extension that extends to the very edge of the hash marks themselves. The attention to detail is rich. Now pull that crown, stop the governing wheel. You can synchronize to a reference time. If you want to manually wind this automatic timepiece, you can do so, and you can see that power reserve at about 7:30 scooting along. You also have the ability to engage the quick set date mode, so you can rapidly cycle that date should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. 100 meters water resistant. Zoom out a little bit. This is a swimmable watch, and you can see underneath the case back, Grand Seiko manufacturer movement 9R65, 3-day automatic. It is a spring drive auto. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. Indeed I can. 30 tools, watchmaker assembled, watchmaker serviced, watchmaker regulated. It uses a combination of spring energy and induced current to drive all the hands and displays. There are no motors in this watch, there are no batteries, there are no capacitors. all the action is driven by the spring, but because it uses a unidirectional governing wheel, the hand only moves in one direction. It doesn't stop and start. It's a smooth sweep, a signature of spring drive. The other signature of spring drive, by creating that induced current through the rotation of the governing wheel, a quartz oscillator wakes up and ensures that this timepiece can meet a tolerance of plus or minus 15 seconds per month. Remember, a Swiss COSC chronometer is plus 6 minus 4 per day. So this is a timepiece that gives you the benefit of quartz, which is precision, with the mechanical soul, multiple jewels, and watchmaker involvement that you expect in a mechanical movement. And once again, it does so in a form with a finish that is entirely Grand Seiko. A watch with distinctive engineering and aesthetic traditions behind it from one of the great integrated manufacturers in high horology. See this one and make it yours on the Watchbox.